Hey guys, welcome back to Phantom Forces Gun Breakdowns, where I give a full-blown analysis of every gun in the game from rank 0 and onward. In today's episode, we're going to be covering the first unlockable battle rifle, the M14. I know it's been a while since our last episode, but if you still haven't seen it, it's in the top right corner. You better go watch it or else it'll be really sad. But if you're new here, glad you could join us. But with all that being said, let's get into the breakdown. Of course, starting with some fun facts, the M14 is an American battle rifle that was first produced in 1957, and this weapon is very famous for being the replacement for the M1 Garand, which at the time was the standard issue rifle for the US military. This was made to directly compete against other magazine-fed weapons at the time, like the AK-47 and the FN FAL, and this was actually the last battle rifle ever issued to the US, as it would then be replaced by the M16A1 in 1967. And finally, the M14 in this game is both full auto and semi, where typically in other games and in real life it's usually left on semi, because in full auto it is insanely hard to control with its crazy high recoil, but in this game you could do that no problem. Alright, now we can move on to the in-game stats. So the M14 is the very first weapon in the battle rifle category you can unlock, and only at rank 2. It does 40 damage out to 80 studs and down to 26 damage out to 200 studs, which makes this a 3 to a 4 shot kill with surprisingly very long damage ranges. We also have a headshot multi of 1.5 and a torso multi of 1.1, which can actually make this weapon a 1 headshot, 1 body shot kill in close range. The magazine size is 20, which for a battle rifle is average, but compared to other assault rifles and carbines, this is a little bit below average. We have a fire rate of 750 RPM, which actually is the highest fire rate out of all the battle rifles in the game. Now moving on to the advanced stats, the muzzle velocity sits at 2550, which is more on the average side, similar to the Colt LMG. Penetration depth is 1.8, which is pretty average for a battle rifle, but very good in general. The reload times are a 2.5 second tack reload and a 3.5 second empty reload, which is a little on the slower side compared to other weapons, but the ADS speed and the walk speed are both very average. And now moving on to the recoil, and this is quite the most infamous aspect of the M14 because the recoil is very bad. It kicks up very high, and there's also a lot of horizontal recoil too. However, if you pull down, you can control it a bit, but even with attachments, the recoil still cannot be completely toned down. That being said, even a little bit of recoil reducing attachments can help. I like to use the PKAS or any other optic, the compensator, the stubby grip or the Romanian grip, and the blue laser. Again, you don't necessarily need these, as the recoil will be bad no matter what, but you should definitely use an optic as the iron sights are pretty terrible in my opinion, and adding on to that, the muzzle flash is also insanely high, so you want to see your target as best as possible. And you could also use something like the OEG or the Terminator optics, which locks you into an alt-aim hip-fire mode, which can also help you with better visual recoil, but you'll have to spend more credits or get a ton of kills for these, which I don't really think you should do that. As far as ammo types go, AP is actually a pretty good choice as it bumps the pen up to 2.3, which is really good, and you still retain the same damage and damage ranges, or about the same. We also do have one conversion, which is the 6.5 Creedmoor, and what this does is gives you 30 rounds instead of 20, as well as lower recoil, more muzzle velocity, and more pen, at the cost of decreasing your overall damage down to 34 max damage and 22 min damage, making it now a 3 to a 5 shot kill. You also lose out on the torso multi as well. And to be honest, this conversion isn't bad. Lowering the recoil as well as giving more muzzle velocity and a bigger mag is great if you don't mind having lower min damage, so I would consider this conversion more of a proper side grade to the default ammo. As far as how you should use the M14, you can treat this as a high risk, high reward type weapon. You don't have a lot of ammo in your magazine, and you have absolutely awful recoil, but you have an amazing time to kill and very good damage ranges. This weapon works great in close to medium range, but at long range it may be harder to use because of its average muzzle velocity. The 6.5 Creedmoor conversion can help with recoil reducing builds, and also keep you in more sustained fights thanks to its increased mag size, but you lose out on just raw power and range performance. This conversion I'd say is more friendlier to newer players if they can't control the recoil as much, but for me, I'd like to have more damage overall, and I don't mind the heavy recoil. But overall, the M14 is a great option for anyone who values close range performance and can get around that harsh recoil. I must say, battle rifles are a very interesting class of guns in this game, as they all seem to typically follow the high risk, high reward model, having high damage and high recoil and limited ammo. But it actually makes it my favorite class of weapons, because I just think it's really fun to have that kind of setup. But yeah, for anybody who thinks this is appealing, the M14 is the weapon for you. But as for my overall opinion, I really like the M14. And while at first it might be difficult to use, once you get used to that recoil, you'll be having an absolute blast with it. You will literally be mowing down entire teams with this thing because it just hits so hard in close range. Again, just like the KSG from rank 1, it's quite insane how powerful this gun is for being such a low rank. So out of 10, I'm giving the M14 an 8.5 out of 10. It's a great way to introduce people into recoil control, and it's just a straight up good option just if you want to have fun, you know? Well, that's gonna be it for this video. If you're new here, feel free to like the video and sub to the channel. We've got tons of more fun weapons to cover, and also let me know what you guys think of the M14 down in the comments. But as always, I hope you guys enjoyed the video, and I'll see you all next time. Take care.